would you take right now, if you had to pick one of the rosters, would you take Alabama's roster or would you take Auburn's roster?
Alabama's, because I think they've got more returning guys. That's my biggest worry with Auburn's roster is you're throwing a bunch of new guys together. I don't think you have as much retention. Alabama, look at it now. Filan back, Holloway back, Reitzel back, Sherrill back, Millette back. That's 5 of your top 8. How many teams can say that? Not many. So while Auburn might have higher end talent, I love the retention. 5 of your top 8. If you can do that, man, these days you're doing something right.
Let me play devil's advocate because I tend to agree. Tahad Pettiford, I think, is one of the guys that I'm most excited to see as a sophomore, right? Like he was a dude last year. We saw the highs. We also saw the lows, right? He either looked like the second coming of Isaiah Thomas or he looked like a guy that was completely unplayable and you couldn't have on the floor, right? And I think that what happens when you are a sophomore is you see higher lows, if that makes sense, right? You're not going to have as much of a roller coaster ride when it comes to some of those performances. And if we can get more games closer to Tahad Pettiford at his absolute best, like look out, man, because when that dude caught fire, he absolutely caught fire. And now you can combine that with Keyshawn Hall, who quietly was one of the best players in the Big 12 this past season after losing, what was it? He calls himself Big Guard, right? After losing 50 pounds from when he was a freshman at George Mason. So I think that you have two guys that are very, very real weapons offensively for Bruce Pearl. And then you got a couple athletes around him, man. Keyshawn Murphy is an absolute dog. Elijah Freeman is going to be one of these guys that comes in as the D2 player that really impacts college basketball. I would probably say that Alabama's the quote unquote better team right now, but I think they're both really close. And I think both of them are going to be top 15 again. I can't wait, man. Todd Pettiford and LeBaron Filan next season is going to be an awesome matchup to watch. Like you got to circle those games as always.
Yeah, do you know how many other players besides Tahad Pettiford return at Auburn?
Yeah, not a single one.
Correct.
Does Stephen Pearl still have any eligibility left?
And Pettiford had, I was there to see it a bunch. He had Janai Broom and Miles Kelly, 2 older guys to help bring him along. Now it's kind of his team, but is it his team? Because obviously Keyshawn Hall comes in with making a lot of money and a lot of hype. It's just going to be interesting. One of the biggest strengths of that Auburn team last year was chemistry. And now you're just throwing a bunch of dudes into the hat and throwing them together and saying like, all right, Pettiford, you're going to take this new group that you don't know any of these dudes. Maybe he can do it. But I think I'd go Alabama after, not before Filan came back, but after Filan came back. I'll take the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, it's not easy to do what Kentucky did last season or what Louisville did last season. Like the idea of completely rebuilding a roster almost from scratch and having it be able to win at a certain level. It's I talked about this a little bit with one of the Off the Carousel interviews that I did yesterday, but it's hard for. It's a lot more similar now to what European basketball is, college basketball, with how quickly these rosters kind of get thrown together and how quickly you have to find to be able to make a mesh. And to be frank, like with the amount of money they're getting paid, they're professionals. You got to figure it out. You got to find a way to be able to make it work for a lot of these guys.
Well, there's a lot of them. And there's again, it's almost like you're an outlier if you're Alabama in returning 5 of your top 8, So while we say, hey, Auburn, you're only bringing one guy back, there's a lot of teams that are only bringing 1, 2, maybe 3 guys back of their top, 7 or 8.